All right, let's start with reviewing the watch list for May 29th and see if any names stand out. There were plenty standing out yesterday, but let's see whether something new was setting up in the background. ACMR has been plenty good to me lately. I reduced 20% of my exposure yesterday. Um, I won't be looking to cut this one anytime soon. ADTN could provide a way in this new range high. So I will definitely have a key level to observe around 1730 because it has had an amazing momentum, but yesterday was shaken out quite a lot. Let's see whether it was a temporary weakness. It could catch up or not. But either way, a well-defined stop loss 4% for a 7.5 ADR name is worth it. On to the next one. Yeah, nothing to see here. That's another name, ALAB, that has been insanely good to me as well. But like ASMR, I'm not looking to cut. I cut 20% yesterday. Let's see where it takes us. This one we commented yesterday on the Scream AMKR. If this range was not broken, and then the stock based around 20-day, would have been a perfect setup. But basing lower when the market was basically that's the weakness from last week, and it broke structure. So maybe it needs time to set up more. AMPG looks like a proper flag setting up. Really doesn't care about the market weakness last week. This one is definitely worth a follow. So if it breaks 510, it becomes interesting. And then if it does so on volume, I'll definitely be looking to join this one. AMPX had a pretty decent volume yesterday, above a weekly range from last week. I'll put an alert just to see whether it comes down to levels that would provide good risk reward. So anything close to yesterday's low above this gap, I may look to enter. Applied Digital Corp, APLD. This one has behaved nice. Not too tight. Volatility has not contracted, it has expanded. Only yesterday we have some reducing of ranges. I'll be interested if it breaks yesterday's low and then if it could base around it. But I also want to get a notification in case it breaks highs above 50.8, in which case if it does so with volume, I may be looking to enter. APPS, that's a name basically that we called out on previous streams. Had a pretty decent run yesterday. It even kept up slightly more in the aftermarket. I have a position. I cut 30% yesterday. Let's see how long it would trend. ARP, that's another one we called out on the stream. The issue with this one is that it's way too volatilities all over the place, right? So you have a good first leg, then it hides somewhat nicely, but then basically it gives out most gains on the next basic attempt. Then volatility contracts to the upside, couple of inside days. Seems like another run starting, and then you got this ugly red candle, kind of destroying the momentum. But let's see, it's still above the 10-day. It's still above this basic range. I'll be looking to monitor in case it breaks the 1.25 level. So with volume, if other similar names are trending, maybe I could get some exposure. ASSD, Strive, has shown a remarkable resilience to the market weakness. It hasn't really had a volatility contraction profile on the upside. And then momentum was kind of broke, especially compared so with other momentum names. But nevertheless, there's a promising structure. The 10-day, the 20-day, all trending. It just needs a slight push. So I'll definitely be looking around 18.30. If it breaks up with volume, this tight structure could easily become a good foundation for a momentum burst. Yeah, that's pretty solid momentum. BODP, that's a active position of mine. I've reduced 30% of the exposure. Let's see what it does next. BTDR, that's the name we called yesterday on our stream. I was able to get a good position on weakness. My execution was around 14, 1492 or something, somewhere here. It behaved pretty good. But that's the thing. Once you have these watchlist reviews, you get a conviction on the trade, right? There were multiple things setting up here in the background. So you had the range, almost 1 year of a range, slightly less, but a long duration range. Then for the first time in that range period, you actually had a prolonged upside trending moving averages that act as support on pretty much every downturn. Unlike here, when the stock completely lost the moving averages, here it used it as a base, then a second time, then a third time, and then with a couple of inside days near the range highs, it's a safe bet. That's what trading is all about, right? But with higher than 50% probability. And this is definitely one of them. If you have a trading archive, trading journal, you would know. So this was a pretty textbook setup. I did collect some. I think I sold about 10 to 15% of the position just because it expanded to ADRs within the day. Let's see what it does next. Yeah, BTQ was another one I had on my radar. It was nowhere as neat and tight as BTDR. Let's see how this one evolves. BW is a position I have. Nothing special. That looks pretty decent if it was any other name, but I guess. CRDO. That's one that has shaken me out last week. Now, we've seen some communication names earlier in our watchlist review. Actually had uh, much worse days lately. This one has held strength. It also has the support of the moving averages. It's near all-time highs. So CRDO definitely deserves some attention. I would probably looking to start a position around the 230 level with a well-defined stop loss below the last 3-day lows, right? So that would be 210. That looks like a pretty decent support level. So if it gets some weakness pre-market or even slightly after the open, I would probably be looking to enter this one. I was so pissed when it took me out because it was so promising, to be honest. It was on this day here. Here it was in my watch list. Amazing setup. Then a break above these levels have provided what we are after. But then it shook me down the very next day. Deep Row, the reason I've marked this one was due to yesterday's high volume. Could be a start of another EP, but I missed it on the open. So if it comes to levels that would produce good risk reward entry, which is around between 760, 770, if it gets to that level, I'll be looking to start a position. With a stop below yesterday's low. Let's see if the volume picks up or if it fades today. Elva, yesterday this was on my radar. Kind of that's a very strong setup, right? You have the basing could qualify as what some call cup and handle. I'm not a fan of these names and labels, but it definitely shows 3 inside dates near all-time highs. It's not the same as CRDO, as we do not really have the first long leg and then the long basing around it, but it's similar in a sense that it is establishing volatility contraction behavior near all-time highs. And that's enough to show that volume is suppressing. So anything on the upside would be a strong run. Elva, anything above $12 is very interesting to me. This fly name could be interesting. FLY, aerospace and defense name. They are quite volatile lately with all the announcements. But this run of 100% is definitely worth some attention. It came off from a good base. I missed it. I saw it, but yeah, too many names got shaken me out. Maybe it's worth a re-entry on weakness with a tight stop. Let's see how it opens today. I don't have it on my watch list. Probably an entry around the 50 level deserves attention with a stop loss around $48. Audrey is $2, which is negligible in terms of risk. It's a high ADR name, and then to the upside, it would provide plenty of opportunities. But let's see how it opens for today. But it's a solid momentum name that's experienced some weakness the past 2 days with all the news coming out of the war. Nevertheless, these momentums are not to be dismissed that quickly. First Solar, another amazing day yesterday. All right, nothing interesting. Scrolling through the names. Have a position in this one. Ever since DP yesterday, it acted well. Hoping it gets some traction soon enough. IRDM. Similar characteristics to what we saw in some previous stocks. 3 inside days at all-time highs. Volume is not that low as compared to previous days, but the range has definitely reduced. It's not a very hot one, but I want to be notified when this one runs. Levels are above 52.5. If it comes up on the upside with the volume, I may be looking to enter with a very short stop loss. Or okay, maybe it's not that short. Stop would be at 49, risking 1 ADR. Yeah, let's see. Not too excited about this one in particular, but it looks well setup wise. Lots of these names are so random. These are the markets in general, to be completely honest, but then some do experience repetitive structures, which we try to take advantage of. NXDR, Next Door Holdings, this one broke the range yesterday. We called it out on the stream. Let's see how it behaves for today. I'm quite heavy on similar names, but a good setup, definitely. Also, pretty decent volume yesterday. Let's see what it runs. We could include it later on in the trading archive. Powi showed some strength yesterday. Again, It was quite weak for the duration of the day, but then it started gapping up later on. Still have my position untouched. Let's see how it develops. Pioneer Power Solutions. All right, 67 million of a market cap is for sure a no-go for me. Qualcomm, QCOM. That's a name that has benefited from the quantum comments of Nvidia last week, and then all the developments surrounding the sector. Gap about 250 or solid volume break of the 250 level is something I'll be interested in. It has based for 3 days now. Insane amount of momentum before that. It based, so we cannot say that the structure has not been established. Stop loss is close by enough, but I could also scale into the position. I won't be looking to re-enter my full position given the higher ADR and the fact that it experienced a massive run. RGTI, similar, but the benefit this one has is that it could break 9-month of a range if it starts to run. So I'll definitely have it on my alert if it breaks the 27.9 level, so above $28. This one could run. It would break a 9-month of a range. Already has the moving averages acting as support underneath. I guess we'll yet see whether this support would act as intended. But structurally wise, this looks like a good setup. That's a name I have. SATO. But honestly, this one is a bit too dramatic for me. All right, not much to see. Pretty random names for the rest. T. Oh wow, TSSI has taken up some beating. This name was good to me. I remember entering it here, and then it had a solid momentum for a few days. Then I think I lost my position somewhere on this day. It has been a good name to me previously as well. All right. Things change. We don't need to love our stocks and get married with them. UMAC, that was a very good EP yesterday. I will be setting an alert at key levels. So I'll be looking UMAC around 27.21 levels. If it comes from the highs that it experienced yesterday, because it's a good TP, solid volume, above a range, I would want to have a stake in it, but not where it currently stands. If I miss it and it goes to the upside, I'll be looking for it to base. But if it comes down, I'll be looking to set a starter position definitely. Wolf is another example why you should never cut too early. Here I cut on weakness, so maybe it's not the best example to the point that I'm trying to make. But a stock that had an ADR at the time of 8 is now an ADR of 18, right? All right, there is a lot of short interest in this name, but something that moves, let's say, relatively strong compared to other names can suddenly do a 200% move for 3 weeks or something. It's just insane. That's why you should never cut too early. Riding these moves is what would make or break your PNL. Now, theoretically, you would still be in because there has not been a close below the 10-day. But yeah, once you're looking at a 200% gain, it's really hard to stay objective and keep some exposure, but you must. All right, we're reaching the end, so not much else to see. And there it is. That's about it for today. Thank you.